After yesterday's clip, in which I expressed some doubts about the broadcast model for taking our churches online, many of you asked the obvious follow-up question. If that won't work, what will work? What would you propose? Well, it's easier to know what will not work than it is to know what will work. It's easier to sink someone else's boat than to build a boat that won't sink. But I've decided to take up the challenge. If the broadcasting model is not the answer for the present crisis, what is? At least, what would I propose? To some extent, we're all figuring it out as we go along. There's plenty of trial and error that needs to happen. What I say today, I may well abandon tomorrow. But if we fail to think clearly and act decisively in the present crisis, there's a real possibility that our ministries will simply disappear into obscurity. We know there is a solution. Jesus promised that he would build his church and the gates of Hades would not prevail against it. The challenge for us is to discern the solutions for the season. Now, this is much too big a task for one short video clip, so I'm going to spread it over a number of short clips. For today, I want to share two foundational thoughts. Firstly, the threefold horizon of a blizzard, which is a short-term, high-intensity crisis, a winter, which is a medium-term, fairly high-impact, highly restrictive space, and an ice age, which is a long-term extinction-level event, is really helpful. It's helpful if we think in terms of navigating this crisis in terms of a short-term blizzard, a medium-term winter, and possibly a longer-term ice age that results from it. Now, for the blizzard, the streaming and broadcasting model is absolutely fine. But if the crisis turns into a winter or even an ice age, I think the odds are fairly good that it's going to be a longer-term impact than a blizzard. We will need a different strategy. What are we going to do if we cannot return to church as normal, say for the rest of the year? Secondly, the move from contact to e-learning may well be our best compass for our move to e-church. I based my concern about the broadcast model of online church on the failure of the same approach in education. Online education through a broadcast model failed dismally. Having given it some more thought, I think the educational model is a good one for the church. Of course, there are differences. A church is not the same as an educational institution, but there are also many similarities and touch points, and I want to unpack some of those in the videos to follow. But at the heart of it all is the following fundamental conviction. A successful online church requires an e-campus. That is, a virtual space and ecosystem in which we can build Christ-centered communities online.